Now, one of the autism myths that I don't believe in is that it's something to be hidden, which it really isn't. You've probably heard this in school before, but just imagine how boring the world would be if everyone liked the exact same thing. Like, it just wouldn't be fun at all. So we need people to be different in order to make the world a more fun place for everyone. Every autistic person should know that it's okay for them to be different. It's fine for them to not fit in.
Autistic people lack empathy. I do not think this is right, and I am very frustrated about this autistic myth because, as an autistic person, like myself, I feel empathy for other people. And on the Spectrum Gaming Discord server, no one is very cold. No one lacks empathy. For instance, like, we joke around, but then no one goes over the top and doesn't say sorry or anything. Like, we feel empathy for each other. So I don't think that autistic people lack empathy.
I really dislike that most people think that being autistic makes you prone to daily breakdowns, violence, and antisocial behaviour. It's really not the case. It gives the wrong impression of autistic people. It paints them as unstable burdens on society, and it's just flat out wrong. I feel these myths are caused by a lack of understanding from others and people who just don't really get autism, if you know what I mean.
Some people think autism is a bad thing because they don't understand. And when I make my noises, they stare at me.
They don't get it at all, do they?
No, they don't.
And do you think autism's a bad thing?
No.
Autism is not preventable. There is no way you can get rid of it, and there probably never will be a way to get rid of it. And you can't be half autistic. I see a lot of people saying I am half autistic, I'm kind of autistic. No, it doesn't exist.
Vaccines do not cause autism. Many studies have been tried to find links. Each one has failed. It annoys me that parents delay or refuse vaccines for their children because they think it causes autism. They wish their child dying from these illnesses. Vaccines cannot and do not cause autism. There's no debate. Being autistic does not mean you have an illness or disease. It means your brain thinks in a different way from other people.
Well, they say that vaccines cause autism, when that makes literally no sense at all. Autism is where the brain is wired differently, and vaccines can't tamper with the brain, so the myth was busted. But if it was true, nobody could tell the difference between normal people and autistic people because there would be so many of them.
What I think is that a lot of people are misled about autism. I know a few people have had their diagnosis and think it's a bad thing, when really it just makes you more special. There's a ton of theories and other stuff that makes it look bad, or perhaps gives difficulties, and partially it can, but it's not what people make it out to be. Autism is a good thing, and be proud of how special you are.
I don't like it when people say autism is an illness. It's just a difference.
Autism can be cured. Autism is a disease. Autism is contagious. Autism is a disadvantage. I can guarantee that you have heard at least one of these sadly common phrases. As an autistic person, the first one hurts the most. I hear things like this a lot, and I'm sure others do too. Autism isn't a disease or something we have, it's part of our lives, something we are. And it being misunderstood to the point where people are that uneducated to know it's not something we don't like or can get rid of. It's like if we were to say that being neurotypical is a disease. How would you like that? Don't give it if you can't take it. We don't have a disadvantage being like this. Yes, some things we can find harder than others, but sometimes you struggle with some things we find really easy. This is just personal experience, but for me, I find it easier to talk to people that are also autistic because we get each other, and it just feels natural after a few minutes of conversation. I'm going to leave it there for you to figure out what you can do better.